Hello, everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name is Sachin Pulil, and I'm your digital admissions coach. Today I have for you guys Tanya Jaiswal. So she's a student who has applied for her PhD program, and she's fully funded, and she got into the University of Wisconsin Madison. And most importantly, she passed through the whole visa interview process, the whole visa thing. I know this is really confusing for you guys, so I thought we'd make a video on that. I can interview her. She can share with us her experience and all that. Okay, so welcome to the channel, Tanya. How are you doing?
Hello, Sachin. So, yeah, I'm doing great, mostly because I'm relieved now because my visa is approved. This was the part of my application that I was most scared about because, firstly, when I was applying, no visa slots were available. Then, when the visa slots got available, it was such a big rush that it was really difficult to get a slot. So, since now my visa is approved, I am very much relaxed. So, hello everyone. I am Tanya Jaiswal. I will be starting with my PhD in the biophysics graduate program at University of Wisconsin Madison. So, I am currently an undergraduate student in the Department of Biotechnology at Heritage Institute of Technology, Kolkata. So, yeah, it is kind of a jump. I am directly jumping from my undergrad to a PhD and skipping the master's part. So, yeah, I will be happy to help with all the visa questions you have.
Okay, perfect. So can you just tell us a little bit about your journey from the day you got the admit to where you are today? Like, all your proof of funds and, the I-20, DS-160, F-1, the visa interview. How did everything go?
Okay, so right after I got my admit, you need to accept the offer. So most of the universities in US have, I guess, 15th of April as the national decision day by which you need to accept or decline an offer. So I actually got three admits, like from other two universities, I got two admits as well. So I had to decline those offers by 15th and accept my University of Wisconsin Madison offer. Once that is done, you need to send some of your documents to the particular person in charge in the graduate admissions department. Those documents are mainly your passport, mainly your proof of identity, and once you have and your offer letter for sure. And once you send those to the graduate departments, they issue an I-20 to you. Now, the I-20 is one of the most important documents for your visa application because that is what would decide your funding. Because in the I-20, it is very clearly mentioned that what will be the cost for your tuition, what will be the living cost, what part of it is being funded by the program, and what part of it needs to be funded by you. So the I-20 is one of the most important documents. Unless and until you get your I-20, you cannot proceed further, because once you get your I-20, you will actually get an idea that what is the amount of funds you need to arrange for, what is the amount of fund that the university is paying for you. So yeah, so the getting the I-20 is the first and the foremost step. After you are done with your I-20, you then proceed to your DS-160. DS-160 is your visa application. So just you need, there is a huge form available online. You need to fill that DS-160. Once you are done filling your DS-160, please check it twice or thrice, because that is a very important form you are submitting. Once you are done submitting the DS-160, you need to pay, I guess, 150 or $160, and then you can then schedule a visa appointment. After you schedule your visa appointment, then the visa appointment is actually divided into two parts. First part is the biometrics, and the second part is your consular appointment or your interview. So in the biometrics day is pretty easy. They just take your fingerprints and your photograph, but the entire document verification and your interview happens on the second day. So you need to book slots for both of these things. And once you are done, then yeah, I guess you just need to go for the interview and produce all your documents. I did not. I skipped a very big part of collecting the financial documents just because my program was fully funded. But if it is not funded, then I guess you need to go for loans and collect. You need to go for loans, or you need to produce the proof of your bank account statements or a chartered accountant statement to clearly show that you are able to pay for the amount that is being shown in your I-20. generally the amount that you should show is 1.5 of the amount that is being shown in your I-20. So suppose your I-20 says that you need to pay $1,000 for your tuition and living expenses combined, then you need to show around $1,500 in your bank account or via a loan in order to get a smooth visa process.
So where does the education loan fit in? Is it before the I-20? Is it after the I-20?
Yeah, so they require it for issuing your I-20. So when you
Okay.
are going for your I-20, they require the proof of the funds. They require your offer letter. Before the I-20 only, you need to contact them for the amount of the loan you need to take or the amount you need to show. But some universities can be pretty lenient. They give you the I-20 without the proof of funding, but then you definitely need it during your visa interview.
Okay, perfect. So I guess that's like the overall picture of how the process works until where you are now. Now, can you tell me a little bit about the accommodation part as well? So when did you book your accommodation, and approximately how much before class, or like when do your classes start?
My classes start from 8th of September. I have
Okay,
my
so then,
orientation on 30th of August, and my
mhm.
classes start from 8th of September.
Okay, perfect. So then let's say 30th of August is like your first day, I guess. So when do you need to book your apartment and all this living situation stuff before?
Yeah, so my university basically provides some university apartments, but then there is a portal where you need to apply for the apartments. So I applied for it in the first week of April, but there was so much of rush. I did not get a desired apartment. There are other good apartments, but then I did not get any of them. It was already gone. So if you want to get your desired apartment, I guess you should apply for it by March, because I did not get my desired apartment even though I applied for it in the first week of April. So since I did not want to go take the university apartment, then I started looking for other apartments. So all the universities mostly have a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group where uh, many students like you will be there. So you can just join in and let the people know that you are looking for a roommate. And this is what I did. I just posted in the Facebook page that I am looking for a roommate, and I got the DMs from a lot of people. And just based on the vibes, I just connected with one, and I chose to share the apartment with her. So yeah, I guess the ideal time should be by March if you are looking for university apartments. But if you are looking for apartments on your own, then you should probably start looking for it by May. Yeah.
Okay.
And the roommates also you should start looking for by April, because uh, otherwise a lot of people have a lot of preferences. Like there were some people who preferred vegetarian roommates, some people preferred non-smokers. So if you have any such preferences, then start looking for a roommate earlier. Otherwise it will be very difficult for you. And staying in the US all by yourself, even in a studio apartment or a 1 BHK, is really difficult and very expensive.
Can you tell us a little bit about the expenses? How much does an on-campus apartment cost versus an off-campus apartment?
Yeah, so the university apartment, Eagle Heights is the apartment that is provided by my university, and the apartment was around $1,200 per month for a 2 BHK, and the utilities like Wi-Fi and everything else, these were included, but electricity was excluded. So this is the cost for the university apartments. The apartment that I currently took is around 1275 or $1,250, excluding electricity as well.
So I guess now we'll
Yeah.
move on to the actual visa interview stuff. So can you tell us a little bit about what the visa interview was like from the booking it from your home to actually going there? Which embassy did you go to? Like which city was your interview conducted? What
Kolkata.
questions did they ask and all that kind of stuff?
Basically, firstly, I filled my DS-160. So filling the DS-160 can be pretty intimidating because there are a lot of questions that are very dubious. So you need to be very like attentive and careful while filling in your DS-160. Once you have filled in your DS-160, you need to pay for your visa. after you are done, you can actually schedule an appointment. So when I filled my DS-160, I filled it by the end of May, and during that time, none of the visa slots, like appointment slots, were available in any of the embassies across India. But I guess by the mid of June, some declaration came that they will be releasing hundreds and 200 thousands of slots for visa interview. And the very day they released the slots, I was lucky enough to get a slot for myself. So for those of you who are having troubles like getting the slot on your own, what you can try is you can try calling the visa consulate, and they actually book the slots for you. I personally got my slot that way. Like because the since lots of slots were like released that day, so the site was frequently crashing. And as all of you know, you only get 12 clicks per day. Otherwise, you will be like banned for 72 hours. If you exceed the 12 clicks per day, you will be banned for 72 hours. So I did not want to risk that. And the very first time I logged in, the server started crashing and I could not do anything. So what I did was, after 4 hours, so 4 hours is the time interval that you should ideally keep between two logins. Otherwise, you again risk yourself for a 72-hour ban. So after, I just called the visa consulate and I told them to book a slot for me, and then luckily enough they booked it instantly and I got my slot. So I got my biometric slot on 5th of July, and I got my visa interview on 13th of July. So coming to the day of the biometrics, so biometrics, you need to go there with a few documents, like you need to take your passport, you need to take your DS-160, and at sometimes they might ask you for your I-20 as well. So, and of course your appointment confirmation that you will be getting after booking your appointment. Once you go there, they will just put a stamp on your DS-160, and then they will take your photograph, and then they will take your fingerprints, like the fingerprints of all the 10 fingers, and then you are good to go. Then comes the actual main day, that is the day of the visa interview. So you need to carry all your documents along with yourself to the embassy, because they will be asking and checking for each and every document. So firstly, the first and foremost document that they ask for is your I-20. So the I-20 actually gives them an idea that whether they need to ask you for funding proof or not. If it is written that you need to pay a certain amount of money on your own, then they are going to ask you for the proof of funding. So carry the proof of funding along with your I-20. Then, of course, yeah, they ask you for the SEVIS pay. I'm sorry, I missed it. You need to pay your SEVIS. That is around $350. You need to pay it at least 1 to 2 weeks before your visa interview. And then they will be asking you pretty basic questions like, why did you choose this university, why did you choose this program, what is the kind of work that you are like planning to do there, uh, how are you supposed to fund yourself, why particularly this university, or why particularly this program, uh, how how much is the university paying for you, if you got any scholarship, that why do you think you got that scholarship. So these are the pretty basic questions that the visa officers generally ask you, and you need to be pretty confident but honest while answering those questions. And yeah, that is it for the entire visa process.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. So just one thing I want to touch up on, which is the service fee. So can you just mention a little bit about what is the fee? You mentioned that you need to pay it around 2 weeks before your visa interview. So what is it? How much you have to pay and all that?
Yeah, so SEVIS fee is actually a fee that any student or intern going to US in any university needs to pay. So it is $350, and you can pay like after you get your I-20, you actually get a SEVIS ID written in your I-20. So using that SEVIS ID only, you need to pay your SEVIS fee. So starting from the point you get your I-20 till 2 weeks before your visa interview, you can pay your SEVIS fee at any point of time. It is $350, and it can be paid online. So in that time frame, you can pay your SEVIS fee at any point of time, and you are fine.
Okay, perfect. So now I guess we have some questions from the audience. We, create like an Instagram post and a YouTube community post as well. We got a bunch of questions. So I've compiled a few questions to ask you, and so hope you're ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
All right, perfect. So first thing is, what is the deciding factor in granting or declining the student visa?
Okay, so I guess there are three primary factors that decide this. Firstly, is your funding. You should be able to show that you are able to fund yourself in the US, and um, you won't face a crisis of the funds there. Secondly, is disparity can cause the rejection of visa. Whatever you are mentioning in your DS 160, uh, and whatever you are saying in your visa interview should match completely. There should not be any disparity in the information present in any of your documents, otherwise it can be a very big cause for visa rejection. Thirdly is you should convince the visa officer that you are not going to stay over there. After you complete your studies, you are going to come back to your country because of any ties you have to your country. So yeah, I guess these are the three primary things that you need to say, like proof, in order to get your visa accepted. Also, if you're going for some of the courses, like there are some courses, like one of my friends, he is going for aerodynamic and aero engineering something, and he got a 221G because that course is somewhere related to the defense and all. And in that case, you need to actually have a letter from your university saying that yes, you have got accepted for the course, and yes, you are not planning to do anything bad with that knowledge, and you will be like not be any potential harm to the society after you learn that course. So 221G is basically a hold on your visa. So they are not rejecting your visa; they are putting it on hold for further clarification. So they might the processing might be from their side, that they have not processed your application nicely, so they might ask you for some time. But most of the times, it is for you to provide them with some additional documents. Like they might ask you for some, if you are not able to provide some, like I told about that friend of mine, a letter from the university stating that he won't be using that knowledge he gained there for anything as that would lead to the harm in the society. So yeah, they might ask you for such letters. They in sometimes they also ask you about your program and the, like what kind of work you are planning to do there. So if you like fumble during that time, they might also give you a 221G and then process your application further to see if you are like going for a legitimate reason. So there can be a lot of causes for getting a 221G, but 221G is just basically a hold where they will ask you for more documents, and you need to upload it within a week. And after that, they will further process it and let you know if your visa is accepted or rejected.
All right. So what about preparation? So did you prepare for the visa interview? How did you prepare? All that stuff.
Yeah, so I actually read quite a lot online about the various questions that might be asked during the visa interview. Apart from reading the articles available online, I did not actually go for any preparation because I was pretty sure that I do not need to sweat much about my financial documents. So I did not prepare much for it, but I was pretty scared while filling my DS 160 because there were a lot of dubious questions, and I was completely perplexed by what to fill in which section. Yeah.
What should you bring to the interview? So you mentioned a couple of documents. Could you just restate, all those documents?
Yeah, so the DS 160, your appointment confirmation sheet, your SEVIS fee receipt, your passport, your I-20. If you are not fully funded, then the proof of your financials. And yeah, I guess that is pretty much everything. Some if the visa officer sometimes find some thing fishy, then they might ask you for your GRE or IELTS scores as well, and also for your undergraduate or master's mark sheet. So it is always better to carry all the documents so that you are not in a situation where the visa offices ask you for a document and you do not have it, and you end up getting a 221G. So carry all your mark sheets starting from your 10th boards. I personally did that. Carry your GRE and IELTS mark sheet as well. And apart from that, the documents I told you, you should carry those as well.
Okay, next question is about the flight booking, right? So first of all, like how much did it cost you to book a flight to Wisconsin Madison? And when did you book it? Was it before the visa interview, after the visa interview, so on? And when do you recommend
Okay,
students
so
book it?
yeah, so I personally I would recommend to book it after you get your visa approved, because unless and like some of my friends had this situation that they got a visa interview slot 1 week before their classes start. So in that case, they had to book the flights beforehand, so that once just after they get the visa, they can fly. But then if that is not the case with you, if you are getting your visa appointment much earlier as compared to the start date of your classes, book it after you get your visa issued or approved. I personally did that. Once I got my visa approved, I started looking for flight tickets.
How long before day of class starting, like you recommend that we book the visa? I mean, sorry, we book the flight. So like, let's say again, you said that your classes start on 30th of August, right? That's your orientation day. So when are you flying?
Yeah, I'm flying on 25th of August.
Okay, so you're
So
giving yourself
basically,
12 hours.
yeah, so I am like, this completely depends on your situation. So there are a few people who are going for masters and they have TA trials going on 1 month before the start date of your classes. So if you are in such a situation, then you of course need to fly earlier. There are a lot of people who have holds in on their admission, awaiting some documents. If that is the case with you, then again you need to fly a little earlier as well. So it completely depends on your situation. So if you are like completely done with all the documents and formalities, then flying 1 week before your classes start date will be fine, because then you will get enough time to get rid of the jet lag, like settle down, arrange your house, uh, arrange your kitchen and fill it up with groceries if you're planning to cook.
Okay, so in most cases, 5 to 7 days, you'd say, like,
Yeah.
Okay, great. Another question that I had that came to mind is, how long after your interview do you know whether you get your visa or you get your 221G or your rejection and all that?
So yeah, so the moment your interview is done, you get to know whether your visa is approved or rejected, or it is on hold. So you get to know it the very moment. But then in order to get your passport back, like if you are like, they actually take your passport, and in order on the very same day, and in order to get your passport back, I guess you would require 1 week. So there are two modes of delivery. You can either choose to go to the consulate and collect your passport, or you can do one thing, that you can choose the premium delivery option, where you can just sit back at your home and a person from DTDC will come to your place and give you the passport with the stamped visa, but then you need to give the person 500 rupees. So you can choose either of the options. Both are very convenient options. And yeah, within 1 week, I guess you should get, everyone gets their visa stamped passports back.
So this is the last question, which is, what kind of COVID precautions are in place? Do you need to be vaccinated for the interview?
So yeah, so you do not need to be vaccinated in order to go for the visa interview. I am personally not vaccinated till now, so I plan to get the Pfizer doses once I reach US. So the COVID vaccination is not even required for flying. The COVID vaccination is not even required for your visa interview. So what you need to do is, for the visa interview, it was pretty smooth. They didn't even ask me if I'm vaccinated or not. They would just ask you to sanitize your hand a couple of times, and that is fine, I guess. Coming to the flying, you need to produce a negative RT-PCR test report. That should not be more than 72 hours earlier as your flying time. And yeah, that's it. You can get yourself vaccinated there. Does not matter if you're vaccinated or not.
Okay, perfect. So I think those are all the questions that I have for you today. Thank you so much, Tanya, for coming on the channel. I was not only like a host for this interview, I was also like an audience member, because I learned a lot in this interview and stuff. A lot of things that I didn't know. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions for Tanya or for me, please enter them in the comments below. I'll try to help you guys out. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.